Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this Dev Notes update for the point 12 release of Factorio. My name's Root Negative and let's get cracking. Today we're going to be reviewing what has happened in the point 12 update, and I must say it is huge. It is the single biggest release yet by Wowee Software, and the amount of stuff they have added is amazing. So I'm going to attempt to cover some of it. We're going to still be finding things for weeks on end because the amount of stuff they've packed into this update is awesome. So before we get started though, if you're thinking about buying it, now would be a really good time because they've added a whole heap of cool stuff. Let's go. So first things first, lots of the games have received a graphical pass. You notice that the lamps are updated. We now have new sprites for the rocket launcher, the combat shotgun, the submachine gun, the shells, the explosive rockets. If I come in here, we can see all of this has received a bit of a pass. The flamethrower is updated, flamethrower ammo's updated. We now have explosive cannon shells, which weren't there before. We just had the normal cannon shells. I suppose that makes sense because we've got 12 explosive rockets, and I dare say that just makes them more devastating. So lots of things have received graphical passes, as well as oh, actually, if I could, yeah, I can make one. You'll see here, this is currently a little bit glitched because of the whole update thing, and I haven't actually had a chance to run around and fix some stuff yet. You'll notice that this is now let's throw down a lamp. This is the new laser turret, and this is the new gun turret. Now you'll notice that the difference between these two is that they're now both 4x4. The old gun turret used to be 2x1, and the old laser used to be 1x1. So that was a little bit odd. They've buffed the values, so the laser turret is now a lot stronger, and the gun turret is also a lot stronger. You see that they both take up a bigger footprint, so we've got that now, which is awesome. The old design is obviously no good, so we need to be running around and deleting all of those. Moving right along, ooh, we have something really cool. You see now that we've got these little slots here. These are logistic trash slots. They work like passive active providers. So as soon as I throw something in here, all the robots will come and take it from me, and there we go. So no more having to run to a box and then go, well, okay, I don't want this, and oh, I don't want that, and I don't have to do that anymore. I can just decide that, okay, well, I don't want that anymore. I'll throw it in the logistics trash slot, and the robots will come and take it for me. That's pretty cool. Now, there's a couple of things that they've done with some of these things. You'll notice the lamp. Do I have a little wire? Yes, I do. I can actually hook the lamp up now to the logistics network, which means that you can effectively have a signal. Okay, so you can set this to whatever you want. Oh wow. Okay. As I said, we're going to be finding things for weeks on end. I hadn't spotted that. Oh, that's received a graphical pass by the looks of it. So you could set it to whatever you want, and if you know your network, a certain condition becomes true, it turns on, and if it becomes false, it turns off again. So that's pretty exciting. There's going to be computers built, I can tell. Now, there's lots of added things that have been introduced for the multiplayer game, and that kind of brings me nicely to some of the optimizations that have been introduced. So let me just save this game very quickly because I want to show you guys an example. This came out a little while ago. It was an example of a very large factory. In point 11, I ran it at 2.4 frames per second. So we'll see what kind of improvement has been made here, and I think that this is probably the best way to demonstrate that. So these improvements in the optimizations have meant that, you know, suddenly we go from having, you know, something along the lines of 2 frames per second, and we're up to 10 frames per second. So that's a 5 times increase on a large scale factory. I'll just grab some of this because it's all going to just keep it running. So you can see here, this is running very fast. Okay, that's the kind of optimizations that they've done, and that just means that multiplayer is all of a sudden much more viable on slower connections. And also scaling into the later game, if you've got a decent connection, well, you can keep going with it. What else do I want to talk about? We'll jump back to my little factory. That's a little bit easier to manage, and I know where stuff is. The other thing that they've done is they've hidden a lot of the latency in multiplayer. So opening the GUI and doing different things in the game are now hidden within the kind of code, so it doesn't cause the game to lag. Moving right along, we can see that the trees are brand new. They've received a graphical pass, and you'll see that it's got leaves and bits of wood that fall off. So that is very cool. I've been playing this game since 0.9.8, which is a year ago. Actually, while I'm talking about that, saves from before 0.9.8, or the 0.9 version, you won't be able to load them. So keep that in mind. If you're a really old player that's been around or gone away or whatever, you won't be able to load your super old saves anymore. Just remember that. Now, what happens with these trees over time is they will actually degenerate now. So, for example, well, actually, what I could do... yeah. So we've got new sound effects. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Maybe I can. Now, these trees will regenerate health over time. Oh, there it goes. So that went from 34 to 35. So that's very cool, and if they're in high pollution areas, they will eventually die. So, adds a nice ambiance to the game. We've got lots of updated sounds for the biters, the spitters, the worms. Actually, we could run up here very quickly and just piss some biters off. Just see what happens. What is that? Oh, that wasn't in the patch notes. Those sneaky buggers. Okay, so they spoke about this, that there was going to be a bigger class of biter, and obviously that's the behemoth biters. So we've had the big spitters now for the entirety of the last update, and the big biters have been around since, well, 0.9.8. This is going to test out my defenses. Ooh. So you can see those sound effects have now been updated, and sneaky. I can't see that anywhere in the patch notes, so I don't know if they've snuck that one in or what. But anyway, something really nice that they've done is that assembly machines now, their input, okay, so these here, they only used to accept a certain amount. Right now they've been up to 3 times the demand. So for example, it's got 10, 20 and 20. That means that this will hold 20, 60 and 60, okay? 3 times the demand. It never used to be like that. It used to cap out at a number, and that made things really hard. What else have we got? Lab research. When you were researching things, if you ended the research and it had science packs half used, those science packs would effectively... Oh, I'm just going to do this. Oh, that is so good. Those science packs would just become useless. They would disappear. They'd fly off into the void. And you also notice that the modules are now displayed in the advanced info view. So that is very nice. You'll notice that each of the research packs now have a health bar. That means that they're persistent. They'll steadily decrease, and each research pack will be used. And that's actually going to be a pretty big gain in efficiency. Now, this is actually going back to multiplayer very quickly, and I know this is extremely unstructured, but I'm just trying to cover everything. With multiplayer, there was people running servers, and there would just be a random person standing somewhere on the map not playing. We can actually use a headless server now, so you can boot up Factorio. There'll be no graphics, and there'll be no player. So that is very interesting. If you're interested in the headless server, go onto the Factorio forums wiki and check that out. Now, what else have we got? So I've mentioned a lot of things. That's a good one. I've got the patch notes open on another screen here so I can read from them. Where is it? Where? is it? Is it under here? No? Where is it? Because there has been... Ah, here it is. Concrete and stone. Now, the stone brick can be used to build a stone path. Now, I would really like some stone. Do I have any? I do have a little bit, actually. So I'm going to request some in, because I haven't done this yet. Stone brick. And what does that need? Ugh, iron ore. I won't be able to do that. So there's also concrete. And what that does is it increases your walking speed. Now, ooh, here we go. So you can see, all of a sudden, I can place down these stone paths. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. So these stone paths now will increase your walking speed. And this is great because you can have a path running through the middle of your factory. Okay? And that will form like a major thoroughfare for you then. And you'll notice that you can place it underneath factories. You can, you know, just basically run it wherever you want, so that you can make your factories a little bit more beautiful. And also, if you need quick access to anywhere, throwing this stone down all over the shop, you can move around a little bit quicker. So that looks really cool. Let me just delete this off. And the modifiers there, the stone brick is a 30% increase in walking speed. Concrete will give you 40%. And then you've also got terrain modifiers. So sand is 1.8, grass is 1.6, dirt is 1.4, stone is 1.1, and concrete is 0.8. So quite a considerable advantage to drive a vehicle over these paths. And what else have we got? Oh, I wanted to test that out actually, because they've made a lot of changes to the train network. So what I want to do is I want to come here and I want to just ditch some stuff. You'll notice that now the cargo wagon contents are actually shown when you hover over the locomotive. So that very handy. And they've also added a chain signal. So what this is when there is no exit to the block up front, it prevents the train from moving through. You can see how that isn't green, because there is an exit to this path. When I receive this, oh, I'm just going to go get the wagon. Screw it. Ooh, there's actually, yeah, let's get them both. Awesome. So what I could do is I can just throw down a little train here. Notice how that's now red. What this means is you can now create undeadlockable junctions. By using these chain signals, you can ensure that a train, if there is no exit to the block, they will not move into the next one. If you're unsure what I mean there, hang 5. I'm going to be doing a train tutorial eventually. You see when I pick it up, it goes back green. I'll be doing a train tutorial about how to build good train networks, and that'll be one of the things that we cover. Now, in terms of changes from 0.9, 0.8, rebalances, this kind of gear actually works now. There used to be quite severe compression losses. You can actually get away with this now. So if I just pick this up. Ooh! So that's very interesting. You see, this splitter behavior has now changed, but basically there are no compression losses in corners. So all of this gear where we got really fancy with splitters and corners and everything, you don't really need it. A corner can now be that, and there's no loss there on the quarter. Huge change. And also, we used to set up our belts like this. That doesn't work anymore. It must run all the way. Okay, so this is a huge change, and most people's factories are going to be broken. So you're going to have to run around and yeah, fix all of those basically. Now, what else have we got? So, ooh, this is a really good one, and I'll also cover something else. Oop, before I run out there though, check this out, right? Where is it? Ah, here it is. So, if you have a look, you can see underneath health, it says available logistics robots, 999. out of 11.14. Then underneath that, it has available construction robots. So now we can see how many construction robots we've got and how many logistics robots we've got. No fancy math or anything required, it just tells you. Now you'll notice that I can run through forests kind of easily now. This used to be very, very hard. What they did was they reduced the collision box for these, so now you can just kind of run straight through them. Now you notice that I've got some things outside the network up here. Now this is one of the coolest things that they've added. Now I had 6 pairs of legs. This is the personal roboport. There are some extra research items that are now available to be done, and that's character logistics slots, personal roboport. Here it is. So it's a blue science, and it gets you these personal roboport. Each roboport, increases the construction area, the charging stations, and the robot limit. So you notice that when I did that, off go my robots. They're now being my little hunter-gatherers. Hello? Hello? Ah, they were charging. So I can now run around, alright? And if there's something I want to do, boom, done. Oh, I want an inserter place there, done. I want lots of panels, done. I want a blueprint. Where is it? There's one. Job done. That has got to be one of the coolest things that they've added. So amongst everything, they've made a lot of updates to this game, and I haven't covered them all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to link in the patch notes. I'll just deconstruct all of this using my personal roboport. I'm going to link in the patch notes. Check them out because the changes have been huge. They've been awesome, and this game just got even more awesome, if that's even possible. Thank you very much for joining me. I look forward to seeing you around. I know that I've got a challenge on my hands personally with Break the Game and a few other projects that I've got going on, so I look forward to seeing you around my channel.